Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith, I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the United Kingdom, and today I thought I'd do a bit of a variation on a double gatefold card. And you can see from the paper I've used here, this is some retired paper that we had, which was absolutely beautiful, and this is how long ago it was that I made it. Due to the time off that I had to take earlier in the year due to personal circumstances, you know, I just didn't get around to making it, and I was sorting out and I kind of went, never did a video. So here we go. This is the video on how to make this fun card. I'm using the Petal Park stamp set, which comes with, you can get a coordinating punch. You can see here, can't remember what it's called, flower builder. Anyway, it's a punch and it punches out these 3 flowers, and it also punches out this little leaf here as well. And I've used the iridescent rhinestones in this one, but I thought, seeing as I'm, you know, doing it with current products, I'm going to use some Cheerful Daisies DSP, this lovely DSP we've got here for the front, and just update it a little bit, and maybe even use some of our new in colour dots to decorate as well. So photopolymer stamp set, you're going to need your big block or a stamping platform for that big stamp, yeah, so let's get started. So first thing we're going to do then is stamp some of our flowers. So because I'm going to use this paper here, the Cheerful Daisies has got kind of balmy blue, boho blue in it. So I thought I'd use those colours, and probably add my favourite kind of combination at the moment, which is Fresh Freesia and Bubble Bath for the pinks. So let's do those pinks first then. So there's my Bubble Bath, and you can see I've just got my little sticker on there, so I know which colour's which. There's my Fresh Freesia for the outline. I've cut my card to just about 2 3/4 inches, just over 7 centimetres for this, and I'm going to, the reason I'm doing it this way is because when I put my card in, I want that flower to be at the top there. So if you imagine, let's show you, so it's kind of going to be like that. So that's my outline. So I'm going to do 2 of those and then fill those in with a Bubble Bath. So just at the same, ink it up, hover over the top of that outline and then stamp. The same again. Pop that to one side to dry. Then I'm going to need another piece about the same, which of course I haven't got. I've already stamped some, so that's about the same there. Obviously I'm going to need to clean these because I've just used them for a different colour ink. I mean, you can use wipes. I wouldn't recommend it because often they've got fibres in them. So either use a scrub, or what I use when I'm stamping usually is my chamois, and I kind of use 1/2 for the really dirty bit, and then I clean on the other half, like so. So pop those away, and let's grab, I'm going to grab my boho blue, and I'm going to use my As Your Afternoon for the outline. So on my original card I used Memento, but I really wanted to kind of put get these colours in with just a real change. So there's my As Your Afternoon for the outline, and I'm going to use boho blue stamped off. So just ink it up. By that I'm going to ink it up, stamp once, and then you can hover over the top there to get that lighter shade. If I'd stamped straight away, it would have, I think, would have been too close to the colour. I'm also going to stamp the inside of my card as well. So for that, I'm going to use I'll use my blues, but I'm going to use, for the leaves, I'm going to use some garden green. So I've got a piece which is 10.5 by 14, so this sort of suits, you know, UK and US cardstock. And all I'm going to do, large stamp, so ink pad to stamp, and then I'm just going to stamp that across that top corner. corner, and I'm just going to add a little bit to the bottom corner as well. So I'm not going to do any flowers there, I'm just going to use my leaves. And the other thing I'm going to do before I punch those out is I'm going to use some scraps of card that I've got to do some leaves for the front as well. So again, garden green, I'm just going to punch, actually I'm going to stamp first, some leaves there. And this is why I keep my scraps of card, you know, because these little scraps, you know, they're little offcuts, and they're perfect when you want to do things like this. And this is how you make sure that you get a really economical use of your cardstock. So I'm just again stamping off, so keeping the same colour, but just stamping off once for those, and I might even stamp off twice to give it a lighter shade. And this is how you can get several shades that all coordinate. Again, so again these line up, so I'm going to be doing this part here. Don't need to ink it all up, but I am going to stamp off first and then come in over the top. Again, just hovering like so. And then I'm going to come in with my flowers, and it's this. I'm just going to use that large one with the As Your Afternoon. And grab my other one, which I've put to one side. There it is. Again, stamped off, and just overlay that on the top there. That's going to be the inside of my card. Now, I'm going to need my ink pad again in a minute, and I'm going to need my boho blue because that's the colour card I'm going to use. I'm going to put my other ink pads away. And now we can start punching those pieces that we need. So as I mentioned, I've come in with this orientation because this means I can just line that up, angle it. Now I haven't quite got it right on this one, so I'm just going to cut the edge away. There we go. Like so. So all I'm doing is I'm lining it up. Now if you've got any dexterity issues where you struggle to punch things, just like half close it, then put it down and punch. So there we go. There are my flowers. And I'm going to do the same again. And you can see I've done them, I've got it more upright on this one. So if you struggle, do it that way, and that does save them flying over out of the way quite so much. Again, lining up. Didn't actually line that one up as well as I might have done when I stamped it. There we go. So we've got several flowers there. Add my other flowers in, and let's do our leaves. So as I said, just bringing in a little strip from the top, and you can just, you might need to snip off as you go along. Just, and if you get to the other end, there we go, just, obviously that's only cutting through the one part of the punch, so it takes less pressure. But again, if you've dexterity problems, you know, pop it on your desk, line it up, and just use the flat of your hand, and that is better for the punch because you're less likely to twist it. But just make sure you tip any pieces out right from the start, because otherwise you run the danger of something clogging up and getting stuck in one of those other apertures. So there we go. here my debris. Make sure I only throw away the white leaves. Okay, so we've got flowers, we've got leaves, we've got our panel for the middle, as you can see there. So now what we need to do is actually create our card base itself. So you can see that's our... So next we're going to cut our card base. You want a sheet of A4 and you're going to cut on the short edge at 14.5 centimetres, like so. And then on the long edge, you're going to cut at 24 centimetres. Keep those pieces because you're going to use those for your side panels in a moment. And you're just going to score on the short edge 1 centimetre and 6.5, and then you can either repeat that on the same on the other side, or you can line it up at 17.5 centimetres and at 23 centimetres. So now I'm just going to burnish those, fold that narrow piece back on itself. Just make sure those are nice and square when you fold them over. And you should find that that then meets nicely in the middle there. So now we're going to use those offcuts to create those side panels. Now with the two pieces you've got left, you're going to cut a piece out of this long piece, 14.5 by 5.5. So, and out of that other piece, do the same again. So 14.5 it should be all ready. Oh no, it isn't. No, 14.5 by 5.5. Okay. So these are going to be our two side pieces. So you're going to mark the side and the bottom at 3 centimetres. So just line it up at 3 centimetres here and mark. This is going to be my right hand one, and I want to mark at 3 centimetres here. So mark on the right at 3 and the bottom at 3. Okay, so that is our bottom one, and then you're going to repeat that on the other side. So you want to mark the left hand edge at 3 here, and then that bottom edge at 3. Okay, so you're coming in like so. Now you're going to cut those. So line up those two marks. And I didn't do that one very well. Okay. Okay, there we go. And that's going to, and then you're lining up that side mark with the inner piece. Okay, so there we go. So there's our one side. Repeat on the other side. Again, cut, and then again line up our bottom mark and our side mark, like so. And there we have it. So those are going to be our side panels, and they're going. So before we attach our side panels, I'm actually going to do some stamping on these two panels here. So turning over to the reverse side, and I'm just going to grab my little floral outline only, and I'm just going to do some tone on tone stamping with my boho blue. So just repeat stamp. Don't do what I did there and actually not stamp it very well. And it's just creating your own sort of DSP effect here. And I'm just going to overstamp there. Here we go. Repeat. Now once you've done that, because that's going to show on the back there, we can then add our panels. So I'm going to actually pop this one down, that one there, let's do it that way, and start adding panels. So our two panels are going to go onto the front here, and what I'm going to do is get rid of my little marks. Same on my other side. And what I shall do is actually add my adhesive on here. Now, if you're not using Tombow, that one seems to be dead, okay, then I would recommend you use Seal Plus for it, because you really want a good seal on this. I prefer using the Tombow because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room and it does create a really good solid finish. So I'm just coming to the side of that score line. I'm not worried about those top and bottom bits at the moment because we can trim those off afterwards. I'm just going to gently fold those back. Or not so gently fold it back. Okay, so just give that a good burnish. And while that's drying, then I'm going to cut my DSP. So DSP is really easy. You're going to get two pieces which are 14 by 5 centimetres. So I'm just going to cut a 10 centimetre piece from my DSP to start off with. That leaves me with a largish piece. I'm going to measure from the bottom to get that daisy, and then I'm going to cut that into two pieces like so. So again, we're going to do some measuring, but this time we're actually going to use our card itself to help us with before we do our cutting. So I'm just going to come in and snip at the top there. So this strip, we're going to come in here if I show you what I mean. So I'm going to actually pop, if you imagine that's going to be here on our strip, and we're going to measure, we're going to draw diagonally across there. So I'm just going to add a little mark. Tuck that in like so. So I'm going to line it up with the very top, and I'm going to add a little mark there. So when we cut that diagonally, pop that back on the front there, you'll see you've got a nice angle. Okay, so like so. So I'm going to repeat that on the other side. So line it up with the top and add our mark, and it'll be around about 2.8 centimetres, just slightly less probably, maybe even 2.5. So you can eyeball it, or you can do this, and I find this way I generally get a better. You see that? You see I've got a nice angle coming down there. And then I'm just going to mark it on the bottom. So line it up, make sure it's nice and square, and just come in slightly at the bottom, and we can cut those. So just butt that up at the top. Not even butt that up. So just line up your tick mark with the track. There we go. It's easier. I'm holding a larger piece of it here. So that point, like so, and then repeat on the other side. Okay. So now we've got our two pieces of VSP, which hopefully, before I add the glue, has got a nice border on it. So there you go. See, that's nice and even. So I can pop that on the side there. And then again, just before you add your glue, double check you're happy with the layers on there. I am. And while I've got my glue out, I'm just going to add my glue to that centre panel there as well. I've got is I've got a couple of little bits of glue there that were on my finger, which I've now managed to put on my card. So I'm just going to wait for those to dry, and then I shall use my glue eraser just to get rid of those. Right, okay, so we're nearly there now. So now we can start shaping our flowers. So grab the bone folder and start. So what I used on each of these was I used a large one and a medium one. And then I used some of the smaller ones as well. So obviously any that you've got spare, then that's fine. We're going to, so if I open that out, we can start arranging how we're going that to look. So I can add my larger flowers. I'm going to add a medium one in pink on each side, and I'm just kind of matching these up together. I'll put a couple of small ones on the bottom there. So I'm just shaping and curving them out to start off with, and then what I'm going to do next is actually come in and actually shape those a little bit more. And I'll show you what I mean by that. This is actually just a piece of foam, and it's the one that comes in with my block. These I use it for my pokey tool, and what I'm going to do is come in, and once I've shaped it going out, I'm just going to press in the middle there, and what that does is it creates a little flower that pokes up like so. I'm going to do that with all of my flowers as well, so I'll be back in a moment. Now I've shaped all those flowers, I'm going to come in and adhere those, and all I'm going to do is use my silicone mat here and just add some spots of Tombow. So I'm just going to dip those in and just repeat on each side, so kind of mirroring. I'm actually going to pop those on the back, that'll work just as well. So I'm made sure I'm using the same 3 of each, so the 3 that we've created, like so. So I've used a, actually I'm going to pop that down there. Use a blue like here, and my blue like so, another blue and a pink, just as a mirror. And say it doesn't have to be exact. I'm just making sure that I'm just using the same number on each side, just varying it slightly. And once you've done that, you can come in with your leaves. And with these, I haven't shaped these, but you can just all I'm doing is I'm just bending the bottom flatter, so the top lifts out slightly. Like so. So you can tell I'm concentrating, I've gone quiet. And it doesn't matter if these overlap slightly in the middle, because you've got plenty of space for those to overlap on that gatefold. And once those are in place, you can add your sparkles. So I've gone for these lovely in colour dots. So this is where your take your pick tool comes in really handy. So with that sort of glue edge, so I'm just going to pop my small dots on those smaller blue flowers. And as I say, they come in 3 sizes, so you've just lost the, there we go. So with your putty, turn it till it comes out, and then take the pressure right off. There we go. Again, middle one, lovely, just work perfectly with these flowers. And they just add that little bit of shine. And then I'm actually going to use my, on these, you can see I've got some Moody Mauve, which again works very well with Bubble Bath. And it just picks up enough colour to go in the centre there. And then obviously as you press down, that's also helping to stick those flowers in place. So there we go. there we have our double gatefold card with an angled front. I think anybody would be delighted to receive that. And as I said, just goes to show, here we go, 2 different versions, 2 different sets of DSP. I think both work equally as well. What do you think? Let me know. Come back and see me again soon, and as always, their items are available to purchase in Stampin' Up shop. So this is Petal Park with the Cheerful Daisies DSP, Sweet DSP, and the 23 to 25 in colour dots. Thanks for watching. Bye now.